Well, hello. Hey there. This is Christy. I am happy you are here. And I just want to give you a little setup about what we're going to be doing today. This is not a typical show where I interview some experts and have them share their story and their ninja tips. I'm going to be sharing a little bit about our project because the last few months have been an amazing journey. And they are every time we launch a new book. We have shared our authors out in the world. Our authors have stepped into their power. Our book has launched. We become an Amazon bestselling author. They've all had multiple podcast episode recordings on our show, and some of them are getting booked on other shows as well. And so you may be here because, you're a longtime fan and you just, came to this episode and you just wanted to learn more. Or you may decide that this is not the episode you want to listen to and you'll come back next week. You could also be somebody who thinks you have an incredible story. Somebody who had something happen in their life that brought them to where they're at now. Is that you? Can you relate to that? Have you spent the most of your life or the majority of your life kind of just going down a path that didn't necessarily resonate with you? Yes, you are a great person and you were focused on helping other people, but now you feel it's your turn and you feel that everything that you've gone through in your life has brought you to a place where you can help others. It's not from a formal education. You don't have a bachelor's degree in survival. But you have a life degree. You have the experience and the wisdom and the resources and knowledge that could help other people. And you see other people out there starting coaching businesses. You see other people out there helping others with their new life expertise. And you think, well, heck, why can't that be me? And so this episode is specifically designed to help you and to see if we can be the right person to help you. We've helped hundreds of women own their story, step into it, and really get on the new path of their life. Maybe that's not who you are. Maybe that's not what you're looking for. Again, if not, I'll see you next week. But if so, listen up because I have an amazing show for you today. See you soon.
Welcome to the Overcoming Mediocrity podcast, where today's top influencers and entrepreneurs on the rise share empowering stories and ninja tips to become the fuel that ignites a positive change in your life. Our guests don't simply coast through life. They don't let difficult situations stop them. They set big goals, keep their eyes on the prize. And they're joining us today to share insider secrets you can use right now to step into your power and live your purpose. Now, here's your host, Christie Ruffino.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Overcoming Mediocrity podcast. I am Christie Ruffino, the host of the show, and today we're going to do something a little differently. For 9 years now, I have worked with women to help them transform their mess into a powerful message in the world. Because I know what it's like to be weighed down by challenges that seemed impossible to overcome, yet I did. Instead of saying, why me? I said, what's next? And I allowed my mess to guide me into discovering my true life's purpose. I also discovered along the way how I could make an even bigger impact in the world by sharing that journey and a little bit of wisdom with others to equip them to become overcomers as well, so they can rise and thrive. So, from a broke single mom to a top-rated podcast host, best-selling author with 15 books, and a Profitize Your Purpose Coach, I guide entrepreneurs through my process to harness the power of story, systems, and community to build a more dynamic brand, attract more clients, and make more money. And I can help you too. In this episode, I'm going to be sharing all of my insider secrets on how we've transformed an idea into a movement of women sharing their stories to make a bigger impact. And so they can create more influence for their brand and increase their income so they can be on the fast path to a freedom lifestyle that lights them up. So whether you're a woman on a mission who wants to learn why and how you may want to join us, or you already have a few books under your belt and heck, you think, why not have a co-authored book for your tribe? Either way, you're in the right place. I'm going to share some of the mistakes I've made along the way, as well as a long list of how-tos so that you can borrow them, maybe modify them, or heck, maybe you might just decide that you don't want to learn what we do and you want to stay in your genius zone. And then maybe you might think, heck, let me have Christie and her team help me create a co-authored book that's going to make you a ton of money and really elevate your brand. So let's get started. The first question that I hear quite often when I talk to somebody who's heard about our project or have seen one of our books, and they think, well, I've got an amazing story. And when I talk about everything we do and all of the different ways that we kind of position our clients based on their specific area of expertise, the first thing they ask me is, well, heck, why would I want to pay for that? What am I paying for? Well, there are a lot of resources that we need to pull together for a project like this to make it be something that you are going to be really proud of. We have brought together experts that know what they're doing. We have amazing resources that will help you know what you're doing. And we have kind of brought together, so much in this project. And I will tell you, one of the biggest things that your investment is going to when you're a part of a project like this is just the back and forth time that our project manager has to go through to help you every step of the way. And for me, we do multiple group coaching calls where I help you really get clear on your story and write it in a way that's going to be impactful. So you can't be in a project like this with all of the different resources and all of the training that we provide and not pay anything. And if you're in a project that you're only paying a few $100s, well, I would be very leery of that because you may have a book when you're done, but is it going to be something that is of the quality that will represent you and your brand properly? Are you going to have ownership of your story once you work with them? Because that's a big thing you want to watch out for. We will copyright our books. We always copyright our books to protect everybody's stories, but we will never own the rights to your story. And I've talked to numerous women who wanted to join our project, but for whatever reason, signed an agreement with another publisher, and then they were bound to that agreement. They didn't have the freedom to work with us. So I would really be careful in making a decision like this and realize that you're going to get what you pay for. And in reality, our project is a really effective marketing strategy. And that is why I said yes initially when I was in a project like this. And that is really what got this whole thing started. I was asked to share my story in a book produced by Michelle Prince. And, I just thought, well, heck, who wants to hear my story? And I've learned since then that how my story helped other people and how stories can be super impactful. But I also realized how it would help me grow my business. And so if you are in the right co-authored book project that positions you properly, that markets you correctly and does everything that they can to get your book to be an Amazon best-selling author or an Amazon best-selling book, then it is worth every penny. Because if you continue to focus on having a book of your own, it's going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars and take you hours and hours, if not days and weeks and years. It took me 4 years to write my book. And so just think about what you invest in your business, in your marketing channels, in your PR, in all of the things that you do to build your brand. And then you compare that, right? This is not just a book you're going to have on your bookshelf. This is a book that's going to get you clients. And if you think what a client is worth to you, I mean, I've had many women that, depending on the cost of the services that they provide, they have recouped their investment 10 times over. So I just wanted to address that first objection right away, because you know what? I can see where people would think that, but this is not just a book that you are in that I own and that is positioning me. It's meant and created to position you. So the next thing I want to talk about is why story. Really, honestly, why is everybody talking about story? Why should you share your story? That was my first question. Why should I share my story? Who wants to hear it? Well, in addition to the fact that having my story out there is scary, right? Who wants to air their dirty laundry? Well, I want to, dispel that myth right away, because you don't have to share your deepest, darkest secrets. That's not what this is about. It's about sharing the story that positions you as the expert that you are now, your why you are so passionate about what you do in your business. And if you can hone in on the signature story that is going to communicate those 2 points, then you have found the correct story. And that is a story that you want to have everywhere. When you speak, when you interview, on your website, heck, you can even do a short 2-sentence story in your bio or in your social media description. It doesn't have to be super long. It's basically your descriptor on why you feel so passionate about what you do. And story is also great for teaching. And so one of the things that we incorporate in our book is not only for our authors to share their stories, but it's including your wisdom. So we want your story to inspire others, but we also want to equip the reader to learn from you, to be educated by you, to get some resources from you. And so your story, partnered with your ninja tips, we call them, is really where the power comes together in how we produce our books to really effectively promote you. And so, I guess what I want to say about story is that when we hear a good story, we're compelled to lean in and to pay attention and to stay focused on that story. And that's what's so important about story in marketing, is because we're not shouting our message out there. We're sharing our story, and it's going to attract the person that feels that you understand what they're talking about, right? If you are an expert and your story is what's positioned you to help your ideal clients, when you get out there and they find you through your story, through your message, then they're going to realize that you are the right person to help them. So I can go on and on about story, but I think you kind of get the point, right? Based on what I shared already. So the next thing I want to talk about is why us, and why an anthology. As I mentioned earlier, having your own book, it's a great thing to have. I never would tell anybody to stop writing their own book. I believe every expert out in the space should have their signature book. But I think that needs to be done in a way that's making you money while you write it. And honestly, that's what I help people with in my Epic Mastery program is define their signature process, create a signature program, sell people into that program. That step-by-step process that you're teaching will turn into the chapters of your book. And when you're done with your first round of that program, now you can take that content that you just taught, transcribe it, turn it into your first signature book, and have it be another tool in your toolbox as you're out there growing your business. But that process takes a lot of time. And when you have your book itself, unless you have a really big marketing budget or a PR team in your back pocket, your book is not going to get out there and sell itself. There's a lot that you have to do to get your book in front of your ideal readers. And that's why being in an anthology book is such a brilliant idea. It's because you write one little chapter. It's super easy. It's super quick. You have a compelling story. There's a couple other things that I'm going to talk about in a moment on what else we put with our book and with your story to make it really work for you. But the bottom line is you're going to have your story in a book with 20 plus other people. And so not only are you out there marketing your book, but they're marketing your book as well. And so you've got 20 people, depending, give or take, however many people are in your book, but you have that team of people that are out promoting the same book, and the potential reach of that book and how many people are going to potentially read your story is huge. And when you partner with that with everything we do to market your book and everything we do to turn your book into an Amazon bestseller, all of that can give you thousands upon thousands of people that will find your book and potentially read your story. You don't get that with your own book. And if you time things correctly, what we've done with quite a few of our clients is we launch their book sequentially after a co-authored book, or launch their program sequentially after they're in this co-authored book, because you get the audience from being in a huge a successful co-authored book. And now that audience is ready to get more from you, and they're on your mailing list, and you can let them know about whatever next thing you have coming around the corner in your business. And so why be in a co-authored book? Because it's easy, it's more economical, and it's much faster, and it gives you a huge reach. And so now let me pivot into why us? Because there are a lot of people out there jumping on board. When we started doing co-authored books, there was, I'm sure, a lot of people doing them, but not a lot of people doing them successfully. Now, of course, my mentor, Michelle Prince, has a very successful co-authored book project. I'm not sure if she's still doing them, but you can go to Amazon and check out Dare to Be a Difference Maker, and I'm sure you'll see all of the books she's done. But when I finished my book with her, and because I, at the time, had this huge women's networking organization with multiple chapters in multiple states, my first reaction was, oh my gosh, this was so amazing for me. I want to give my clients, my members, the same opportunity that I had. And so I asked her, I'm like, I would love to do a project like this. How do I do it? And she helped me every step of the way bring our very first Overcoming Mediocrity book to fruition. I think it was in 2013. I didn't really know what I was doing. I had a ton of research I had to do. not only to manage a co-authored book, but to learn the publishing world. I had to set up a publishing company. I had to do all of the different back-end things to get all of that put together and to get the resources in place, from editors to cover designers to interior layout designers. And there were so many things that I needed to do. And that first book, we finished it. But at this point, I would love to go back and redo it, because there are a lot of things that I know now that I didn't know then, that I would like to do to make that book better. And so we made book number 2 better, and then book number 3 better, and we kept refining our process. And now we are at book number 12, depending on when you listen to this episode. We are on book number 12. We are coming up on our 100th episode of the podcast, and we have amazing partners that we bring in to not only help us bring this book into fruition, but give our clients opportunities out there in the world to speak and be on different type of events. And so why we are different, I'm going to go through a list of things that we do with our clients that I will tell you most of the other co-author book projects do not do. First of all, this is not just a one and done, write your story, here's your book, goodbye. We go on a journey together. We have calls every 2 weeks throughout the whole process. Actually, we have calls every 2 weeks pretty much all year, depending on when you join the project, and our authors are welcome to stay in our calls forever, because we're a community. We're a tribe of women that are supporting each other. And so many of our women have done amazing things together. I know a couple of them have their own podcasts, and they're constantly inviting our authors to join their shows. But we get to know each other. We meet on Zoom every 2 weeks. We learn about each other's stories. We support each other's businesses. I go through everything that they need to do in these calls, as well as project updates, and as well as getting to know each other. I mean, every 2 weeks, we do something to make sure that we are moving forward in our businesses and in the project. Now, of course, you don't have to show up to these calls, because everything is recorded and everything is tracked and documented. But if you show up, it's going to be the best way for you to build strong relationships that will help you move the needle forward in your business. So we go on a journey together. I would say that is point A. Point B is I will help you identify the right story that's going to make the most impact with your ideal audience. And that's a really hard thing for us to do for ourselves. I've talked to hundreds of women and men on how to find your story. But I still have a hard time doing it for myself. We are so intertwined in our lives and all of the stories we have and all of the different ways we help people, that it makes it really hard for us to identify the impactful story that we need at the right time. But I'm brilliant at that. I've done it so much. People will tell me what they're doing and what their potential stories are, and it just comes to me. It's so easy for me. So I help you identify the right story. I help you share it in a way that's going to create value for your audience. And I help you bring together the top 3 tips that they want to learn from you, or they need to learn from you, so they can not only be inspired by you, but also learn from you or be equipped by whatever you're teaching them. Because I want you to think about something. When we hear a good story, is it really their story that we care about, or is it how their story affects our story? Think about that. Because people really don't want to hear your story. People don't want to hear my story. But what they want to know is, can I help them with their story? Can I help them solve a problem? Can I help them achieve a goal? And that's why we have to be really careful when we share our story, that we're sharing the right story and we're sharing it in the right way. So we become not the hero of our story, but the guide for them and their story. All right, so let's move on to point C. I should have done them 1, 2, 3, but we're going to just go A, B, C. We're going to do things a little differently. And C is a call to action. So about, 3 years ago, I kind of was thinking, this is really great, but what can we do to create more action with the readers so our authors are actually making connections? And I thought, well, heck, why don't we create an opportunity for people to include a lead magnet with their story? And if you don't know what a lead magnet is, it's basically a free digital gift that people can get from you that you give them in exchange for their email address. Because in the digital marketing world, or heck, in business in general, our business will be more successful if we have a active and engaged email list of potential clients. Well, and clients, heck, if you're segmenting your list correctly, you're going to really know which ones are the clients and which ones are the prospects. But a business without an email list is setting themselves up for failure. And having a good strategy in place to convert traffic, to convert interested people, to convert eyeballs, whether it's on social media or in person through text opt-ins, whatever that looks like for your business. Having the correct free gift in place will help you get interested people on your list so you can continue to help them. And so in our book, after every story, our authors share their biography, their contact information, their social links sometimes, and most importantly, a free gift. So there's a description of that free gift, a title, of course, of that free gift, and a link and also a QR code. So all of those things are bundled together in a way that you will, if you join our project, be able to use our book when you're speaking, when you're working with your clients, when you're networking. There's so many things that you can use your book, but every time you do, you have the potential of getting new people onto your email list. So let's move to point D. What we do with our clients is we share them and their businesses multiple times all over our various social media channels. And so we create images, we share them, we introduce you to our audience, we share your business, your quote. There's so many things we do to get your story in front of our audience. So we have multiple channels of visibility to hopefully bring you more clients. And then E is we have this amazing training library. And so we've learned throughout the years that there are so many aspects of this project that go way beyond writing your story. Let me name a few. When you're done, you're going to need to set up an author profile on Amazon. I don't know if you know that, but every person that has a book on Amazon has the opportunity to create an author profile. If you look at your favorite book, underneath the title of that book, you're going to see the name of that author. If you click on that author's name, you're going to be taken to their author page and you're going to see all of their titles. You can only have one title and still have an author profile. That's one thing that we teach you what to do. What if you want to take your book and you want to turn it into a lead magnet? Now, with our project, we cannot give away our books for free. That is one of the agreements that we have with each other, that we're going to maintain the value of our books and not discount them or give them away free to the mass public. Now, if you're speaking and you want to do something in a private event, that's completely up to you. But if you jump onto Facebook and do a promotion for your book, we don't want anybody to do a buy one, get one free or anything else, because it's not fair to the other authors. But you can extract your story out of that book and use it as a lead magnet. And having that out there could be a really great way to get a lot of people to sign up on your list. But you don't know how to do that? We'll give you a training. We'll show you exactly how to make that happen. There's also a training on if you don't have a huge system in place on how to capture people's email addresses. We have a free process, we can share a free process on how you can do that. It's super easy. There's a training on how to do that. I mean, I can go on and on and on about all of the different trainings that we have to help you in the creation of your story, as well as the marketing of your story, as well as the selling of your book, as well as, I don't know, the list will go on and on and on. But there's a huge library that will go through even if you don't know how to create a lead magnet, we have a training on how to create a lead magnet. We just keep adding more and more trainings, not only by me, but by other experts that are the best person to teach that particular area of expertise. So now let's move to point F. As an author in our Overcoming Mediocrity project, you will be featured on our Overcoming Mediocrity podcast 2 times. And I will tell you, our podcasts that feature our authors get the most downloads so far than any of the other shows that we've had. We just launched our most recent book and we broke 1,000 download episode. And so we did that in a week, and it was super cool to be able to celebrate with the authors that episode had 1,000 downloads. So we do that. And we also would invite you to have your own show on our podcast. And we have great responses with our podcast. And we're fairly new. We're just over a year old. And so that number is going to continue to grow. Who knows? When you join us, we might be at 5,000 downloads per episode. But we invite all of our authors to be on 2 episodes of our show. And we have other podcast resources of different types of shows that are looking for guests. And so we will have that resource for you. We also have a resource of speaking opportunities. We don't create them for you. You have to reach out and share your story, but we have a really great resource library of different podcast hosts and event hosts that are looking for speakers. All right, so connections. This is point G. And in our project, you are going to meet the most amazing people who have also overcome something crazy in their life or accomplished something pretty epic. And now they are in the same place you are. And so many of our authors have gone on to do co-creation projects. We have 2 women who've done a retreat together. We have 3 or 4 women that have gone on a book tour together. They've toured different states with their books. We have one woman that a team that have done a podcast together. Like, I don't know, we have one client that has become a marketing person for, a lot of cross work, hiring, right? A lot of our women have hired each other, of course, but it's the collaboration that happens with like-minded women who are on the same journey that you are is where the power comes in. Because when you see other people doing great things, you are more inspired, you're more encouraged, and you learn from them. And so I learn from our authors, and I know our authors learn from each other. So that is point G. And now point H is you will become an Amazon bestselling author. And what's great about that is you can use that logo on your website to give you added credibility. You can take that logo and you can link it to Amazon, because every time you put an image on your website, that's another point that I forgot to mention. Every time you put an image on your website and you link it, or you refer to an article in another website, you cross-link that, and that gives you more search engine optimization. And the more cross links you have to other big shows, it's going to help your website get more traffic. And so you'll be able to use that logo and say you're an Amazon bestselling author in your bio when you're introduced. You can put it on all of your marketing. I know I have used my Amazon logo in many places, and I feel that it's super cool. And I know it really impresses other people when they hear I'm an Amazon bestselling author. So let's go to point number I, which I totally forgot to add on my list, but I'm just adding it in now. And we will not only market you, but we will create a couple opportunities on our website for you to be featured. We will create an author profile for you that's going to have your contact information, your bio, and your free gift that's going to link to your website. And we will put your book when you have created a shopping experience for your clients to buy your book from you, we will link that to our bookstore, giving you more search engine optimization and allowing our audience to continue to find you and buy your book from you. In addition, a couple things that we do is we will work with a local printer, buy the books in bulk, so you can then sell your books and make 100% of the profit. That is completely different than having a book on Amazon. Because when I sell a book on Amazon, I get a small royalty. I don't know, maybe $4 or $5 on a $20 book. It's not very much. But when you sell your own books on your website, on social media, when you speak, when you do anything, you make 100% of the profit. You pay for the cost of the book, which is usually $4 to $5. I'd say $5 now because printing has gone crazy right now. $5 per book, maybe $5.50. And then you sell it for $20 and you're making $15 per book. So the profit is a lot higher when you're doing it this way. And we do everything to set that up for you. So that way you can get your books and use that book and sell your books and make maximum profits. We'll still put the books on Amazon because we need to for the Amazon promotion and we need to for credibility. But our goal is to have people buy books from you. So that way you are the one that is benefiting from being in this project. Okay. So those are a few of the processes, or I'd say why us, that I feel would be, that would encourage you to join our project. But I want to tell you a little bit about the process now. And so what you have to do in this journey is simply write your story. That's it. And we even help you with that. We help you come up with a framework. We help you identify your story. But you need to put pen to paper, write your story. When you're done, our team does everything else, right? We edit it, we lay it out, we refine it, we market it. Now, everything you approve along the way, because we're not going to put anything to print without you saying, yes, I give you my thumbs up and my seal of approval. But once you've written your story, you can just breathe. Of course, you've got to give us your lead magnet information and your bio and your links, and you have to send us that information. And if you don't have it created, then this is a good incentive to create it because it's going to help you with your business. But beyond writing your story, we do everything else. The only last thing that we do ask you to do is when we get time to do our Amazon campaign, that you help us promote. Because the team effort is why we hit number one. That's the group, right? The group marketing is why on our last promotion, I think we had ended up by having 4,000 downloads of the book. And so if we all work together as a team to promote the book, and it's actually fun. So what we do is we create everything you need to copy and paste the words and the links. And so we have a training library of everything you need. And you just basically pull that document up, pull all the images up and copy and paste that data into whatever social platform that you use. If you're on Instagram, you go to the Instagram section and copy and paste that data. If you're on LinkedIn, you go to the LinkedIn section of our swipe copy and you share that. And what we do during this 5-day window is we're on a group chat. We use either GroupMe or WhatsApp, and we're constantly communicating, and we're sharing our stuff, and we're commenting on each other, and we're following up with our people. And it becomes really fun. It's a little stressful because we keep watching to see if we hit number one. And it's super exciting when we achieve it. And so I feel one of the highlights of our journey, because people really get to know each other. They laugh. We get on, on these great group chats together. And that's, I think that's part of the fun of it. But we do ask everybody to participate. Now, we've had people that have not. We've had people that don't have a huge social following. I mean, I've had a school teacher that's been on in our books, and she only wanted to share her story to help other people. She didn't do it for a business reason. So her social media reach only included her friends, but she still shared it with her friends. And so whether I have 5,000 friends or you have 100 friends, we're all going to work together as a team to promote that book in a short 5-day window. Sometimes it only takes 3 days. Sometimes it takes 1 day, but whatever that looks like, we work together to make that happen. But the whole journey is about 6 to 7 months long, maybe even shorter. It just depends on how fast it takes everybody to get their stories together. We don't want to rush anybody, but we don't want it to drag on for too long, because we want to provide results quickly. And if you do not have everything in place for you to take that message that you're sharing in the world and to turn that into revenue by offering some sort of a paid program, I've got a program that will help you with that. So don't worry. So I don't want you to feel that you're stepping into a journey that doesn't have kind of like you're not prepared for, because maybe it's a matter of doing my Epic Mastery program first and then getting in this project, or vice versa. But either way, we have a process, and I have experts that come in that will help you with everything you need to know and do to take your story, turn it into a powerful message, to engage and attract your ideal clients and convert them into happy customers. And so that is really the premise of our Overcoming Mediocrity book. It's a way for you as an entrepreneur to have a platform to get out there and make a big impact in the world, create more influence around your business, and increase your income. So again, like I shared in the beginning, if you want to join our project, all you have to do is go to ombook.org/apply, and that will take you to our application page. Now, there is a short little questionnaire that you'll have to answer, and there's a very small $25 deposit. Now, you'll get that deposit back if you show up. Even if you decide you don't want to be a part of the project, you get that back. But I've gotten to the point where I am not going to carve out time on my calendar from somebody I don't know without asking for that $25 deposit. Now, that's really only forfeited if you don't show up to the call. If you have to reschedule, no problem. If you join us, great. It goes credited to your investment. If you decide that you don't want to join us, I just credit it back to your credit card. But there is a short little questionnaire and a $25 deposit. Actually, I don't even want to say 25 because it may be more by the time you hear it. But the deposit is fully refundable, and it's just my way to know that my calendar stays clean from people that are spamming me or just have no call, no shows. So again, that is ombook.org. The link for that and the link for the books will be in the show notes below. So I would encourage you to check out our books on Amazon, or more importantly, check out our books on our bookstore page so you can connect with one of the authors, and they'll be happy to sign their book and ship it right off to you. So thanks for listening. This episode ended up by being a little bit longer than most of my episodes are. I'm stumbling over my words now because I've been talking nonstop for about 40 minutes. But my goal in this was to make sure that it was like a good resource for you that would answer any questions you may have about possibly joining our project. Or again, if you want to create a project of this on your own, maybe you learned a couple things on what you can do to make your project better, or start a project that's going to be successful right off the bat. So connect with me, ombook.org/apply. And if you have any interest in having us project manage a co-authored book for your tribe, reach out to me directly at Christie@ChristieRuffino.com. Thanks, everybody. And I will see you on the next show. We have some amazing things coming up. Like I said earlier, we have our 100th episode right around the corner. So hopefully you stay with us. Keep listening in. And if you don't feel this is a good fit for you and you know somebody, I ask this at the end of every episode. Share what you learned with somebody you know, because maybe it's not right for you, but maybe it's right for them. And I don't know about you, but I love helping other people. I love giving referrals. I love sharing opportunities with people who I feel would enjoy learning about them. So share our opportunity. And then, of course, go to whatever platform you listen to podcasts and give us a review, an honest review. That's all we want, honest reviews. But the more reviews we have, the more we're able to continue to grow and support women on their journeys to success. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you on the next show. Bye-bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the Overcoming Mediocrity podcast, where we believe that everyone can have the business and life of their dreams once they've learned the art of mastering their story. Mastering our stories is the key to everything we want in life. Our stories can either hold us back or they can propel us to new heights. We can choose. You can choose. Choose to overcome mediocrity with us. Let's achieve greatness together. To learn more, visit www.overcomingmediocrity.org. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast.